Jinwoo lives a simple country life, spending his days working on a local farm and keeping a watchful eye on his adventurous young daughter. When his city-dwelling lover comes to visit, Jinwoo starts to envision their future as a family before the surprise arrival of his twin sister threatens to complicate his dream. The movie starts with Jinwoo cutting sheep's hair. His daughter Seal was playing nearby. She sees a sheep lying on the ground and calls Jin mummy. Sadly, the sheep had died. Jin and Seal then bury the sheep and both go home, and Mr. Kim arrives there. Actually, Mr. Kim is the owner of that farm, but they live together like a family. Jin and Mr. Kim were talking about cattle market and business when someone calls inside, which Seal picks up. When Jin comes inside and takes the phone, no one responds and the call gets disconnected. After this, everyone was sitting together and having dinner. All these people live like a family, which includes Jin, Seal, Mr. Kim's daughter Ki-do, and his old mother. While dinner, Seal demands corn from Jin, to which Jin tells her that he will give her boiled corn after the dinner. Ki-do asks Seal why she calls Jin mummy instead of papa. Jin says that he has raised her since childhood, so he is her mother and father. He tells that he also used to call his father mummy. Mr. Kim asks Jin about his friend coming over, that when his friend is coming and what does he do. Jin tells that he is a poet and is coming tomorrow. It means that tomorrow a friend of Jin was coming from the city. Then at night when Seal is asleep, Ki-do comes to Jin's gate, who has brought corn for Seal. Jin asks her to join him, but she refuses as it was too late in the night. Then Ki-do asks Aunt Jin for the weekend, to which he says that he will be taking his friend around in the town, after which both of them say goodnight to each other and go to sleep. The next morning, Jin goes to pick up his friend Hyun Min from the bus stop. Seal is happy to meet him as she knew him since childhood. Jin and he hug each other, which reveals that Hyun is not Jin's friend, the boyfriend. At night, Jin cooks dinner with Ki-do in the kitchen. Everyone is having dinner together when Mr. Kim asks Hyun and Jin if they are childhood friends, to which Jin replies that they are college friends. Hyun reveals that he majored in literature and Jin majored in fine arts. Ki-do is shocked to know that Jin used to paint. She asks Jin to paint for her, but Jin refuses, saying that it has been a long time since he stopped painting. After dinner, Jin comes to his house with Hyun and Seal. Seal starts playing and Hyun hugs Jin from behind. Then the next morning, Jin takes Hyun to a coaching center where Hyun is supposed to teach poetry to people. When they return to home, Mr. Kim notices their acts and their affection for each other. At night, Hyun and Jin sit by a bonfire with Seal sleeping on Jin's lap. Hyun asks Jin why he doesn't send Seal to kindergarten to study and play. Jin says that his school days were terrible and he doesn't want Seal to live like that. He wants her to play around the hills with sheep and enjoy her childhood, at least for now. After this, the next morning, Ki-do goes up to pick up Seal. She checks the room and finds Jin and Hyun sleeping together. After seeing the scene, she gets amazed and leaves. That day, Hyun goes to the coaching center where he takes his first class and teaches the people new tricks and procedure of writing the poem. And when the class is over, Jin comes to pick him up and takes Hyun to a remote place in the lake by boat. They do fishing and both spend their quality time together. They spend the night in a tent there. Next morning when they return, they see a car parked in front of the house. Jin goes inside and sees that his twin sister Lian is there. Then Jin and her talks in private. Jin asks her why she has come here and how did she know that he lives here. His sister tells that she has come here to pick up Seal. Then we come to know that actually Seal is not Jin's daughter, but his twin sister's daughter, and his sister left her with Jin 5 years ago and disappeared. She tells Jin that she has opened a cafe, and now she has come to fix everything. Jin gets angry at her for not visiting him even once after leaving Seal. We then see them having dinner where Seal stares at them and asks Hyun how they are twins when they don't even look alike. Han explains to her that they are fraternal twins and their genders are different so they don't look alike. After dinner, Seal falls asleep and Hyun sits next to her. Ki-do brings her comfy clothes for the night. Hyun spends the night sleeping beside to Seal's bed. The next morning, Ki-do was cooking breakfast, after which she goes to wake her grandmother up from the bed. Her grandmother resists and asks her to leave her alone. Ki-do keeps telling her to get up and go to the bathroom, but her grandmother has lost her mental balance, so she rebukes her for bothering. After which she takes her grandmother to the doctor and Jin comes to pick her up from there. Jin asks her about her grandmother's health. Ki-do tells him that she was in a bad mood the whole day. While going home, they go to a restaurant where the grandmother eats her favorite food with great gusto. The next day we see Hyun giving a lecture on poetry in the class. He is teaching his students how we do not express our emotions completely, whereas for a poem it is necessary that whatever is written in it should be written after feeling the emotions completely. Then Jin comes to his class and goes to the back and sits among the students. After the class is over, they all gather and enjoy the food. Then his students start asking him questions that why did he think of coming to the village from the city, on which he tells everyone that he was bored with the city life, so now he is going to stay here in the village. Hearing this, Jin becomes happy in his heart. In the next scene, we see the old grandmother sitting near the forest near which Seal was playing. The grandmother gets up and starts walking towards the forest. Seal asks her where she is going and tries to stop her. The grandmother tells her that she has to go to the forest to see something important and she will be back soon. Seal tells her not to go too far. When she does not return for a long time, Seal goes to the farm, where Kidu asks her about her grandmother. Seal tells that she has gone somewhere in the forest. Kidu understands that the grandmother is missing. Then he and Mr. Kim run towards the forest to look for the grandmother. Here, Jin and Hyun are coming home and Hyun asks Jin about Seal, whether Hyun will take her along this time, and how will he confront Seal about this. Jin remains silent, and as soon as they both reach home, the police had come there. Jin asks what happened there. The policeman tells that grandmother had disappeared, but they found her soon. The doctor comes out of the house and tells that now grandmother is fine, and she has not suffered any kind of injury. After which the doctor and the policeman leave from there. When Jin is warming himself by bonfire, Hyun comes there and tells Jin that it is terrible to even think about it, but she does not want that something like this should happen to Seal tomorrow. She tries to convince Jin that Seal should also live her life like all the children. On which Jin asks her that will she be able to convince Seal. Hyun remains silent on this. Then Mr. Kim is shown drinking alcohol. Kidu comes there and forbids him from drinking too much. Mr. Kim asks her about grandmother's health. Kidu tells that she has slept, but she is afraid that she might pass away suddenly. Kim apologizes to her for having to endure a lot. Then Kim asks her if she likes Jin. Kidu says yes, she likes him, and asks her father what happened. Does he has a problem with Jin already having a daughter? To which Kim says that that is not the matter. Then Kidu asks him what is it. Kim already thinks that Jin is homosexual, but he says goodnight to Kidu and leaves from there without telling her. The next morning, we see grandmother cooking in the kitchen. Kim comes there and is shocked to see his mother cooking food that how the woman who was out of her mind till yesterday is so healthy today. Grandmother asks him to call everyone for breakfast. Then when everyone is having breakfast, Kim asks Jin to get ready early tomorrow as they have to go to the cattle market, because some virus was spreading among the animals due to which the cattle market was closed and now it was going to open after 2 months. Jin asks Eun to take care of Seal and grandmother for tomorrow. The next day, Kim and Jin load a cow in a mini truck and take it to the cattle market to sell it, where Hyun and Kidu also go with them. Then Kim and Jin are outside and Hyun comes and sits in the vehicle when Kidu gets a call from home from Hyun that grandmother is no more. The scene shifts and we are shown that Seal is playing with another child and people are sitting around and having a feast. Actually, according to Korean culture, this was the funeral of the grandmother. Seal snatches the toy from the child, which makes him cry loudly. Jin gets up and goes to Seal and scolds him and starts taking him with him. When Yeon comes and stops him and in front of everyone tells Jin to stay away from her daughter. Jin tells Eun that she has no right to call Seal her daughter, to which Eun replies that who is talking about rights? She has the real rights, and the way Seal considers Jin as her father, calls a man mommy, is that normal? Before Jin says anything to her and the matter gets worse, Hyun comes and stops Jin and stops him from creating any scene. After this, Jin goes out from there. Yeon tries to go after him, but Hyun stops her by holding her hand and himself goes behind Jin to handle him. Then inside everyone starts gossiping about the relationship between Jin and Hyun. Then Mr. Kim bangs a plate which silences everyone. After this, Jin's life was about to change completely because here also everyone came to know that Jin and Hyun are homosexuals. The next day when Hyun goes to take his poetry class, only 2 people came there. When Jin and Hyun go to the supermarket, people ignore them there too. In the next scene, we see Seal who is feeding the sheep. Yeon asks her if she is not scared of them, to which Seal says no and insists Eun to try as well. Yeon tries to feed the sheep but falls. After this, the feed deliverers come to their farm. Jin picks up the feed and Kidu starts helping him. Then Kidu confronts Jin that she used to like him. She thought that Jin did not notice her and maybe he disliked her, to which Jin says sorry. When Jin comes home at night, Yoon tells him that she is going back to the city tomorrow and apologizes for what happened last night. Jin goes inside without giving her any response. While Seal is studying in her room, Yeon asks her if she hates her too, to which Seal replies no and continues reading. The next morning, Jin and Hyun are eating at a restaurant and people sitting at the tables in front of them are whispering about them. Jin goes to get water and stands in front of them as if to confront them. After this, both of them are returning home when Hyun asks Jin if he is angry at them, to which Jin says that people everywhere are the same. He came here so that everything goes well. Hyun asks him not to be demanding here. They both start arguing, in which Hyun tells Jin that he is insecure and scared about his reality. That is why he does not let Seal go away from him. After this, Jin also gets angry at him and tells him that he is the reason behind all this. Ever since he came, everything started going wrong, and he says that he gave his address to his sister. He tells Hyun that he was never comfortable with him in a crowd. Saying this, Jin gets out of the car. After this, when Jin wakes up the next morning, Hyun is not there. Jin searches for him all over the house, but he had left. Jin goes to the town's bus stop on his scooter, but he does not find Hyun there either. Jin understands that Hyun has gone back to the city. Jin, immersed in grief, was grazing sheep in the forest and Seal was playing near him. Just then, Seal gets the illusion that her grandmother is calling her from a distance. Seal goes to the forest with the same illusion, and after a while Jin sees that Seal is not there. He looks for her all around, but she is not found. It was night and there was no trace of Seal. After which Eun informs the police, and at night everyone keeps searching for her in the forest, but no one finds her. Jin keeps searching for Seal the whole night, and in the early morning he sees Seal lying under a tree with a sheep. He runs to her and hugs her and starts crying. Seal regains consciousness and asks about her grandmother, to which Jin tells her that she has gone to meet Grandpa. Then he takes Seal home. After this, he goes to Mr. Kim. Mr. Kim tells him that Seal is like his granddaughter and thank God that you found her. Jin tells Mr. Kim that he was about to tell him about his sexuality, to which Kim says that he had already guessed it. He thanks Kim for everything and says that he has decided to leave from here because he does not want to stay here as a burden. Jin asks him if he ever thinks to get out of this place, / Kim replies that if he had a choice to go take his mother, then it would be possible, but now it's not an option. After this, all of them sit together and eat their last meal together, after which Jin gets Seal ready and starts leaving from that house with Yeon. And while leaving, he looks at the house for the last time. As soon as they start sitting in the car, Ki-do calls them loudly, because the sheep was about to give birth to its child. Along with this, in the last scene, it is shown that all of them see the sheep giving birth to a lamb. Perhaps in the same way, from the next day, Jin, Seal, and Yeon will also be able to live a new life. And with this, the movie ends.